and welcome to this video series titled The Right Thing to Do, Enhancing Academic Writing Proficiency. My name is Wendy Zimmer, and I'm a PhD student at Texas A&M University. And if you are someone who finds yourself in a situation where you are becoming an academic writer, whether you want to be or not, and that can be as a graduate student or a faculty member, or anyone that is writing in an academic genre, then this video series, which consists of about 20 videos, will provide you great resources and strategies for enhancing your academic writing, starting with establishing a strong writing habit, to what an academic paper looks like and how to disseminate your research, and all of those pieces that can become difficult if you do not love writing, which many of us may fall into that category. So I'm glad you're here, and I hope that you find the resources and the strategies that I present very useful and beneficial. They have definitely changed my career trajectory as a graduate student. I do want to call attention to the logo in the bottom right-hand corner of this slide. This video series was inspired by the work of Dr. Pat Goodson, who is a professor at Texas A&M University, and she established the Power Writing community or service at A&M directly to help graduate students enhance their academic writing. And whether you're a graduate student, Power applies to everybody. And so I dedicate this video series to her, and we will talk more about her as we get going. So let's get started. So I want you to think for a second about this statement. The most important tool for success as an academic is. Now this may be something that you have or have not thought about before, but thinking about your academic career, whether you're in the start of it or if you are more advanced in your academic career, what do you think the most important tool for success is? And we will get back to that later. If you need to pause the video to give yourself more time, feel free. Every video will start within the first couple of slides with a free writing. And free writing is a great way for you to get your thoughts down and for you to just increase your writing stamina. And free writings are always about 3 to 5 minutes. And you'll be presented with a question or a scenario to get you thinking. And so the question for today is, what are your short-term and long-term goals for your writing? And if you think short-term being this semester or maybe this year, and long-term being more if you're a graduate student, graduation, or if you're not a graduate student and you're in faculty, maybe your next paper you want to get published or the research that you're working on, but think about your short-term and long-term goals for writing. So go ahead, start your timer for 5 minutes, and try to write the entire time because we're going to be working on building our stamina. And pause this video and come back to me when your 5 minutes is done. So, how did it feel to write for 5 minutes? Was it longer than you thought? Was it shorter than you thought? Hopefully it was great and you enjoyed the activity. If not, don't worry, we're going to keep working on it. It's okay. So, back to Power and the amazing Dr. Pat Goodson. So, Power was established many years ago in response to a need to help graduate students with their writing. And Power stands for Promoting Outstanding Writing for Excellence in Research. And the model behind it is established through a set of principles and practices geared toward 3 things. So, establishing a stress-free writing habit, and you may be thinking that's impossible. You cannot have a stress-free writing habit. But at least you can have a little less stress in your writing habit, which is one of the main goals of this video series, is finding a way to, you don't have to love writing, but at least like it a little bit more than you used to, and truly have less anxiety about the process of writing. And if you follow this video series, I can almost guarantee that you will have less anxiety through your writing. The second goal of the Power model is increase your writing and in turn your publishing productivity. Because if you're not writing and you're not increasing your writing, then it doesn't really matter anyway because you need to be writing. And then the third principle or goal is to improve the quality of your academic writing. Now you may be thinking, I've done all of that. I have tried to fix my grammar, I've tried to fix my punctuation, I cannot remember all those grammar rules, my writing is never going to get better, I get stuck because I don't have the vocabulary I need, or any of those other excuses that we all come up with as we're trying or trying not to write. this program and video series that I am presenting starting today is different. It's different than any other writing program that I have ever done or ever seen. And as a reading person, which I didn't tell you that about myself, but all of my degrees have been in literacy, mainly reading and writing. And I was an English teacher in multiple grade levels, and people assume I know how to write. But when I got into graduate school, academic writing was different. It was different than anything that I had ever done before, and it was not easy. And I tried many things, and it wasn't until I came across Dr. Goodson's power model that writing started to make sense, and I started to feel more successful. So if you've tried other writing programs or processes and they haven't worked for you, don't give up, because this is completely different. So trust me, stick with me through a couple of videos, and you will see that it is different. Power also consists of system, structures, and support. And those three elements will be covered in the remainder of the videos. Today's just an introduction. Power, like I said, is a service at Texas A&M University. So if you're a student at Texas A&M University or a faculty member at Texas A&M University, you can go to this website and you can have first-hand, face-to-face, one-on-one power consultations. If you are not, then my videos are going to have to suffice, and they will be perfect for what you need. There are actually graduate students who have graduated from Texas A&M University who are power consultants that are now starting power in other universities. So search out there, you may find more than you think. So back to the question I posed earlier. What is the most important tool for success as an academic writer? Now, you've been with me now for a couple of minutes, so you may have an idea of where I'm going. But do you think it's research skills? Do you think it's intelligence? Do you think it's critical thinking? Or do you think it's writing? It's definitely writing. Research shows that writing is the most important tool for success as an academic writer. Because the people who can write and can publish, so disseminating their research, are the ones that get promotions and get merit pay and publish textbooks and publish articles and are more successful as an academic person in an academic field. Which is good, because I can't really do a lot about my intelligence. Critical thinking is difficult to enhance, but I can do something about my writing. So stay encouraged. It's going to be a great trip. Now the theory behind power, and I'm going to give you a little research so that you understand where all of this came from. And we'll actually start with more of the strategies and resources in the next video. So power was started when Dr. Goodson read a book called Writing with Power, written by a man named Peter Elbow. And Peter Elbow said that power has two meanings, essentially. So you either write with powerful words, which is the first one, which we all want to have that, or we feel like we all want to have those writings that change lives, that make a big difference. But the second meaning behind power, and I'm going to read this word for word, is writing with power also means getting power over yourself and over the writing process. Knowing what you're doing as you write, being in charge, having control, not feeling stuck or helpless or intimidated. That is what mainly the huge theory behind power is. It's not just writing powerful words. That is an end result of sorts. But writing with power is truly being able to be in control of your writing and not letting your writing be in control of you. So if you've ever been the kind of person who dreaded having to write or put everything else off to the last minute or tried to do anything possibly you could to not have to write, then you are letting writing have power over you. This program will help you have power over your writing. Because if you don't have power over your writing, then you will not create the powerful writing that you want. More of the theory behind power is simply good writing comes from bad writing and feedback. That's basically all of it summed up into one concept. If you don't have bad writing, you don't have anything at all. You have no writing. So you have to start with something, even if it is bad writing, and then you make it good writing. And getting feedback, various types of feedback, which will be a completely separate video focusing just on types of feedback. You will help turn your bad writing into good writing. So a little research for you. The psychological research behind power is that the concept of writer's block. Everyone has always heard, or you always hear in movies or in stories people tell about having writer's block, and they get to the point where they can't write anymore. Writer's block is a thing, but this video series will help you not have writer's block. I don't have writer's block anymore. Nothing stops me from writing except myself. It is definitely not writer's block. So power writing will help you, and this video series will help you no longer have writer's block. The sociological research behind it is basically there are structural level factors why many faculty don't write or publish much. There are reasons behind it, and we're going to talk about those and how to overcome those reasons. Okay. There's also neuroscience literature that talks about deep and deliberate practice. And that is what we have to realize writing requires. Writing is like any other skill. If you want to get better at baseball, you practice baseball. If you want to get better at playing the violin, you practice the violin. If you want to run a marathon, you don't just go out and run a marathon. You practice and you train for the marathon. Writing is like any other skill. If you want to get better at it, you have to practice. And this video series will show you how to practice. And that practice is what distinguishes people from being just okay at something to being really, really good at it. And if you think about people who you know who are really good, like Michael Jordan, or Mozart, or Tiger Woods, or people who you just think, wow, you have amazing, amazing talent. That's not what it is. And there's a whole other book on that called The Talent Code that we'll get into on a different day. But Michael Jordan, yes, he's good, and he has some talent, but he doesn't just sit at home all day. Back now he's retired, but he didn't used to just sit at home all day and eat and watch television and play whatever it is he was doing. He got out and practiced basketball, and so his beginning talent, he practiced and practiced and practiced and practiced and became amazing. If he hadn't practiced basketball, he would not have been Michael Jordan. And part of that is through a substance called myelin. And if you know anything about brain research, myelin is the material that wraps those connections. And so when your brain makes connections, it has synapses. And those connections in your brain are what continue to build and help you remember things and help you develop skills. And the more you practice, that myelin wraps around those neurons and strengthens them. Okay? And that is what practice does for you. The term deliberate practice, which we talked about a minute ago, refers to practice undertaken with a specific goal to improve. Because I could sit all day long and practice writing. I could pick up my pencil and I could practice my handwriting. But I'm not trying to improve my handwriting. I'm trying to improve my vocabulary, or I'm trying to improve my writing habit, or I'm trying to improve my golf game if I'm Tiger Woods. And so if Tiger Woods goes out and practices basketball, fantastic. It's not going to do anything for his golf game. You have to practice what it is that you want to improve and have goals for improving that. And this video series will help you to establish those goals as well. So I do have, in all your spare time, if you want to read a resource on practice and becoming stronger at something in your life, then this is a great one. This book is called The Practicing Mind. It's written by Thomas Sterner, and it's really helping anyone focus on mastering a skill or challenging you to have more discipline and more focus in what you want to do. So I recommend this one. Just a little side note. I also recommend this one, which this is Dr. Goodson's newest book, which is called Becoming an Academic Writer, but we'll get to that next. See? There she is. So, Dr. Goodson has written one book. It's now in its second edition, and it's called Becoming an Academic Writer. And part of what I'm going to do in this video series comes from that, but a lot of it does not. So if you're looking for additional resources, this one is fantastic. She provides actual exercises for practice. So in addition to these videos, the resources and the activities that she provides are going to help you establish your writing habits. So we're about done with this introduction, but I threw in this quote from C.S. Lewis, who I love C.S. Lewis because he's the author of Chronicles of Narnia, among many other things. But he says, what you want is practice, practice, practice. It doesn't matter what we write, so long as we write continually as well as we can. I feel that every time I write a page, either of prose or of verse, with real effort, even if it's thrown into the fire the next minute, I am so much further on. And while C.S. Lewis wrote fiction and in an academic genre, he could not be more correct. You have to practice. And Stephen King has written a book on writing, and many famous authors have written books on writing, and they all focus on the same ideas and the same goals about practicing and establishing goals and putting effort into it. And that's what we're going to continue to work on. So I want you to think, before I'm about to send you off on your own, what writing obstacles do you anticipate you will encounter? Is it your mindset? Is it time? Is it you don't feel confident in your writing? There could be many things. All of those things that you could probably possibly be thinking about, either we're going to cover in this video series, or I'm going to give you resources to cover in this video series. Because we all have the same obstacles that we have encountered. Maybe it started back in junior high when you really started having to write, and it went through memories of maybe your high school English memories were great, maybe they were not, maybe they were covered with papers in red pen. I don't know what your background and your history is, but like I said before, the resources provided in this video are different than anything that you have ever seen before. So stick with me in this video series, and your academic writing will change. The last thing I'm going to leave you with before we move on to the next video, which the next video focuses on establishing a strong writing habit. Because if you don't have a strong writing habit, the rest of it will not come. And so I wanted to start with an introduction. I wanted to start with establishing a strong writing habit, but if I didn't give you some research behind what I'm doing, then you may not have seen it as valuable as it actually is. But like I said, Dr. Goodson created Power, and it is founded behind much research, but also these 11 principles that I'm going to be giving you throughout the rest of the video series. But if you wanted a little quick peek before we get further along, so you can get an idea of what it is exactly we're going to be talking about and some of the tips to help you along the way, these are some of them. So look at these, think about how you can apply them to your life, and stick with me for video number 2, Establishing a Strong Writing Habit. Thank you.